I think that if there was any sort of systematic scan that was taught to driver students, similar to what's taught to flight students, it would decrease automobile accidents.
Scanning means originally basically scan everywhere that you're going. Scan to your right, scan to your left. I believe the greatest mistake that a driver does is he doesn't scan far enough ahead. Always keep your head and eyes moving.
So it's that underestimating the risk and overestimating their own capabilities that leads to trouble. But we have seen time and again that people will engage in dangerous behaviors, risky behaviors every day of their lives until the day comes when they get in a crash, and at that point they say, I never realized how dangerous it was for me to talk on a phone while driving. It takes, unfortunately, a tragic event for a lot of people to wake up and understand that their behavior is really inappropriate for the roads.
Driving is a privilege, not a right. Like we treat each other with respect, we need to treat a motor vehicle with respect, because it can, take a life.
If the nature of the accident is caused because of either alcohol or caused because a driver may be texting and distracted as they're driving down the road, the courts are going to look at that, and that's going to be a much more difficult position from a defense standpoint to try to convince a court that this person should not receive a severe penalty as a result of that.
People definitely feel falsely protected when they get into a car.
We're not remembering that, this is a 4,000-pound vehicle that, that if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, it could be a weapon.
When we found out about our friend who died in a motorcycle accident, and it's a day I won't ever forget. The difference of grieving with an accident is it's so sudden.
The main cause of death out there for teens is getting into a motor vehicle. It's the #1 killer for teenagers from 15 to 19-year-olds.
There's a lot of different aspects to losing a child that make it difficult to live with. One of those is holidays. Another one, though, is watching their friends get older and accomplish things that your child couldn't.
When I got home, my dad met me in the terminal, and he told me that I no longer had a big sister.
You could be the last person that person talks to. We provide emergency medical helicopter services for those that are critically injured or sick and need transport from either a scene of an accident or another facility that needs a higher level of care. I don't know if it affected me as much until I became a parent. So, at the time, he was 4 years old, and so that's the same age as what my child.
Jeff was the most careful, conscientious driver in the world, and if it can happen to him, it can happen to any of us.
It can happen. I mean, it can happen to anybody.
You never think it's going to happen to you. And when it does, it's such a devastating experience.
Some of the things that we see on the accidents, those things can be prevented by taking simple safety measures. I would like to believe that people would change their behaviors.
The key to saving lives in any situation is really changing people's behavior and having them make that choice to act.
Just need to have your mind prepared for driving. Clear your mind. If you're angry, you're upset, if you're too tired, you need to fix these things before you get behind the wheel or before you get into a motorcycle, because you have to be 100% prepared to drive that vehicle.
I wouldn't wave around a gun at a mall, treating the car just like a gun with respect.
Distracted driving, first of all, is a significant cause of crashes on the road. At least 25% of all crashes are caused by drivers using cell phones. People who are driving while they're distracted look like drunk drivers. They're over the center line, they're crossing the shoulder line, changing lanes without signaling.
Studies are showing that talking on a cell phone, when you're doing that, you really have a phenomenon called inattention blindness. And although you may be looking at your environment around you, you are cognitively aware of about 50% of the environment around you. A number of companies across this country are developing cell phone policy ban. No driving, no talking on your cell phone while you're engaged in the act of work. Well, when you're talking about changing behaviors, there's studies show that it takes a while to change someone's behavior. I think the study, the stats are you have to engage in an activity like 21 days consecutively before you will change your behaviors. Think about it when you get in the car, when you're driving. For 21 days, drive without your cell phone.
As soon as you get behind a wheel, you need to understand the weight of what you are using. I've seen firsthand that distracted driving brings pain and anguish into people's lives.
Recent studies have shown that driving while talking on the phone impairs your driving to the same level as driving while drunk. Don't be a distracted driver. Buckle your seatbelt. Make sure you're scanning the road actively, moving your eyes. Don't talk on the cell phone. Don't text. Be aware of the people around you and the people who are driving. Drive defensively. Be a safe driver.
I tell my family before I leave that I love them.
Think of yourself and others and drive with care.
If I could whisper in everyone's ear before they turn the key.
Think of the people you love.
Think of the people who love and need you.
Think about their pain.
Think of their loss.
Think of the other drivers.
Think of the people they love.
Think of their pain.
Think of their loss.
Think before you turn the key.
Before you become a statistic.
Please.
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 Please. Please.
Don't be a distracted driver. Protect yourself and others. Please.